Start the party!
Hey guys, it's your boy Roy, and we're bringing you Chapter 2 on Fresh S rank, no sub-weapons, naked and unloved, and probably no Ripper. And this is gonna be hell. Chapter 2 is the hardest chapter in any type of run. It will make you cry, beg for mercy. And we're gonna start with the first fight, which is kinda easy. You've got one Mischief and two sliders to worry about, but due to a nice little workaround, which I'm going to show you here, press start, press reset, and by resetting the fight, the sliders will spawn, I think about a minute later, meaning you have ample of time to deal with the Mischief, and you won't get hit by any missiles in the background by accident, making for an easy fight. With Mischiefs, like in Chapter 1 I just toyed with them, but here it's no mercy. This chapter's hard as frickin' hell. So, perfect parry for the win. These two, I gotta admit, this fight was a bit sloppy. Just a lightning kick and then blade mode him to death. I think, looking back, I had about 4 hours of footage. That was just me dying and resetting in this chapter. There are so many hard fights, and I'll probably call them out. You all know which one they are anyway. Especially the dual grads. There was my footage that I record is saved on my... like my hard disk has 2 partitions. And that one I saved the data on has 500... no? 600 gigs, I think it is. And it was full... like, of recording footage. About, I think it was about 400 gigs of Fraps footage. And that's against the dual grads, because that fight was just ridiculous. This fight right here is basic cookie cutter. This is a green grad, meaning you can run slash him, but we won't need to do it. Just stay close, kick his ass. If you're underneath his belly, he can't hit you. You can just spam square attack or any triangle attack. Now, one thing's really funny looking back at this video right now for me is the final fight is against 2 of these guys in their, well, stronger form. And I'm seeing a lot of mistakes in my playstyle already. Like, I'm missing a lot of perfect parries. Kind of coincidence I got one there. And it's generally pretty obvious that while I know what I'm doing, I don't necessarily know what the grad is doing. And right now, like sitting here, I can totally read him. So that's pretty interesting how far I've actually come in just this one video. So if you've watched the video, go back to this part. Maybe you'll see something, what I'm talking about. Alright, now that's first fight. Fight being easy as sin, but this is not necessary fight. You can sneak past him if you have a smoke grenade, but it's pretty hard. You have to throw a smoke grenade behind him and then blade mode defense. And you gotta do it really quickly because he's gonna turn around, well, his scanner. You're gonna be done for. Nice little thing as well about that execution. It's only on Revengeance, but if that execution hits other enemies, it kills them in one hit as well. It can be really handy as like a... what do you call it? Crowd control. VR mission location. I think I miss a couple of data storages in this mission because you need the gecko for that, and I wanted an S rank with the gecko. But we'll get to that when we... I think I show them. I don't grab them. Now you're gonna see a lot of those dissolves, those cross dissolves. But here, general consensus of this fight is run around like mad, like you see me do right here. And I'm abusing the gun stance of the enemies, so I can slide into them. Like, proper spacing is really required, because as mentioned in R-01 video, in our R-01 video, if they're even a frame in their sword stance mode, they will block everything. Now there's an invisible wall here. If the soldiers can go past where they are on the radar right now, they'll just stand there. So you can just go over here and slash up those dwarves for safekeeping. Because this fight has to be no damaged, because there's a couple of bugs here. At least I think they're bugs. Like, the game can be really iffy on when a Zandatsu is a Zandatsu. Like, in few instances, if you Zandatsu an enemy that's already dead or near death, and the blade mode I think kills them or something. I have no idea. Like sometimes the Zandatsu won't register, which will happen in this fight. I'll definitely get a Zandatsu, but in the final score it will say that I didn't get a Zandatsu. So with this fight, you just want to get no damage rank. Now over here I almost screw up. I think it's gonna happen once. I like to, well, as you see, oh, there it goes. The air, heavy. If you even only slightly tilt your stick forward, you're gonna get an air kick, a lightning kick. You don't want that. Now it's easy pickings. This fight gave me a lot of trouble on a lot of runs until I figured out that little dwarf gecko trick and this infinite. Do I get the Zandatsu? I don't. Yeah, here. You see me get the Zandatsu? And look at the scoreboard. None. I barely got an S rank. So that's a weird thing how the game handles it. Now I'm going to show you a nice little trick concerning the Bruce Lee geckos. If you cut them in half, like separate them and then kill them. No, I'll show you. Here, separate them, then kill them. Bam, they both get 5,000. Normally if you just kill one, you'll just get 5,000. Now we get 10,000, which is a nice BP boost, especially for new players at the beginning. Because, well, it's 10,000 BP, that's like 2 S ranks, and considering new players won't get S ranks, it's probably going to be nearly their chapter giving, so that's a nice little bonus. Now, this... Oh wait, I'm not going to show the fight first, I'm quickly going to do some upgrades. Nothing special, but the upcoming fight is basically like the rest of the upcoming chapter, revolves around getting a little bit lucky with perfect parries. That's the only thing that's going on. Like, you have to perfect parry and you just gotta pray it hits. Because raptors tend to dodge them for some reason, but sometimes they don't. Alright, I'll just start off with an attack and get the hell out of there. Like, sometimes, that's the one thing I don't know. Sometimes the purple orb will hit them. And I don't know how to trigger that. Well, perfect parry, cut them both in two. Saves you the trouble of dealing with the dwarf. And now we've entered what I like to call easy mode. If a raptor is enraged, he's pretty much unstoppable. You just gotta run away. You can attack them, but they have hyper armor, meaning... Is that hyper armor? I think it's hyper armor. Like, they'll never stagger, ever. But when the rage is over, they'll be stunned, and you can execute them, as you see me do here. And this way, if you kill one raptor and just run away, you've pretty much won the fight. Just getting that one kill is going to be a bit tricky usually. So you got to get lucky and be patient. Especially later on in another fight against a raptor, you'll see me run around for, it could be at least 2 minutes. Just trying to space them out, trying to avoid, take my time. I mean, if you get the no damage rank, you're going to get that S rank. Unless you got a really bad score on the rest of the material. So I got a pretty decent score. The longest combat just wasn't really good. But if you just take your time, use your spacing, and Raeng has a lot of range on his attacks. That's something a lot of people seem to forget. Is if he does his heavy attacks with the sword, he can space out pretty much any enemy in the game. Stinger as well, and especially the polearm or the pincers. Pincers being a bit slow. This part right here, I had to do for like 20, it could be 20 times. Like I was really out of shape against Revengeance. I think that's how you pronounce them. And this is a really annoying part of the game, as you have to redo this stealth part every frickin' time you want to redo the fight afterwards. That comes after it. And seeing how, I sped this up a bit because that guy wouldn't work with me. And seeing how the second fight is really annoying in that if you screw up one perfect parry, you're pretty much done for. And you have to aim for the full 5,000, which is hard. You have to redo this again and again and again and again and again. I think I can't count the amount of time. This was pretty cool, like smack him down to the ground. But yeah, I did this fight like a gajillion times. I even fully stealthed it once. I wanted to put that one in the recording first, but then I thought, wait, nah, the smacking to the ground's cooler. But yeah, the next fight is against two, first one Vodemjerka, then another from the opposite direction, then two Vodemjerkas, paired with dwarf geckos. Now the Vodemjerka are pretty annoying enemies in the sense that attacking them isn't gonna do you any favors. They've got a flamethrower, which is really hard to avoid, meaning you have to attack them at a distance. If you're at a distance, they'll do a dash attack, and if you jump and then perfect parry in mid-air, you can kill them. A normal perfect parry sometimes hits, doesn't always, unless you have the long sword. Alright, first this one appears. I think oh, I get it. Now there's a little trick here that I'm not showing you because I was sick and tired of doing this fight and going backwards over and over again. But if you stand somewhere around here, you just have to back up it a little bit and mash the stealth button. You can actually stealth kill this one. I don't know how the game thinks that works because you're in alert status, but it could be because that enemy hasn't seen you yet. And as you can see, my timing is really off, and that's also because I was nervous as sin. I've been doing this fight like for God knows how long. You actually saw me pause right there. I didn't edit that out because, well, I thought it was kind of hilarious. Like thinking like, God damn it, hit again by that freaking camera. And there we go again. And I hear you thinking right now, like, is this the winning run? Well, I'm as surprised as you are. I was spamming like hell because the camera wouldn't work with me. I think I get it. No, I don't get a perfect parry here. Here? Yeah. This fight was a nightmare. I think I barely scraped by, and I'm a bit ashamed looking at it now, but hey, if it worked, it worked. There we go again. Go for the kill. Bam. Now, dwarf geckos are just easy pickings. Don't care about them. And I think that's... Oh, no, there we go. I was trying desperately to get the high combo ranking here, which is necessary. One nice little thing that I'm probably going to forget to mention. The last fight against the dual grads needs a 40 hit combo. And it has a pretty strict timer. You have to beat him in 2.5 minutes. And I always got like a couple of seconds short. And I finally had a run where everything clicked. And during the final execution, I saw my combo counter at 38. And then I suddenly thought, wait, did I get a combo beforehand that was above 40? And then, then it hit me like a brick. So I quickly did 2 slashes, and lo and behold, I got my S rank. But I'm pretty sure I would have been insanely furious. I was looking for a cool word, but I'm just going to stick to insane. I was going to be insanely furious if I had lost my S rank at that point. Because, as I mentioned before, I had over 300 gigs of footage on that fight. So that just goes to show how long I've been fighting in. Now, you can stealth past this part, though I screw it up. And I don't know how I screwed it up. You run over here, quickly slash that door, slide in, and then you're safe. And then suddenly here I'm caught. Did the man in the box see me? Was it a glitch? Because the alert sign is already going down, and the Vodemjerka clearly can't see me over here. And as you can see, like he's literally hugging the wall. Weird enemy design. That's one of the things that you really should fix in the sequel. Like, if there's ever a sequel. I hope there is. But that the enemy AI, when it comes down to stealth, is a bit, well, not so retarded. I think Metal Gear Rising is actually one of the few titles that could actually really benefit from a sequel. More development time, more time to balance things out. Fix the camera, for one. Because there was a little discussion on the forums, and it made me realize that nearly 90% of my deaths at the moment, like when I'm playing normally, and not some ridiculously stupid run, is by the camera. Is that a Mastiff suddenly jumps and the camera swings in another direction. It's kind of disappointing. I think I really edited this really well. Like, that was an edit. You didn't see it, but that was an edit. Man, I'm good at this. I'm getting good at it. Alright, stealth kill this one. Slice him up. Now you want to try and perfect parry one of them and then use the execution to kill the other. Not going to succeed in this version, but get the execution nonetheless. Slicey slice. And now it's a matter of spacing. You want to stay away from the gecko. Raptor. Perfect parry. Or that. I actually forgot that happened. But yeah, raptors are really powerful with their missiles, which will kill their allies in about 2 hits. Or at least make them fully blue. It's a tactic I used on Raiden Must Die. I never really finished it, but my entire tactic used to revolve around just running around and waiting for the raptor to start firing missiles. I never got past this fight on Raiden Must Die, which is, I think, the hardest difficulty I could ever think of, but I don't think it's in the borders of sanity, as in manageable. You need insane luck, that's for one. But yeah, this fight's really basic. Just keep parrying, dodging. And if he's blue, you can slide him to the ground. At least usually you can. Or uppercut him. Or just slice off his legs. Just to be safe. And then wait till he's blue. And then cut him open. Bum 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 bum. Nice little turtle move there. Now that one glitch you see right there, I had that happen quite a couple of times. Like that Raiden suddenly falls like a millimeter. And considering you have really low fuel on Revengeance, it's gonna be a bit tricky, but yeah. I'll quickly run around and get some items. Again, the reason I'm getting stingers and stuff, even though I'm not using them, is if you have them full in your inventory, you can always, if you grab a new one, you get BP. And it's a little BP, but it can come in handy. Now for this fight, I want to quickly go over here, get his arm, because we want arms, I guess. Now there's a neat little location here. If you stand over here, it needs quite decent space, and you can be hit from either side. And I usually, on higher runs, I just charge my pincers over there, and in this case, my quick draw. And they have one attack that can hit through it, but they rarely use it. It's their sideways swipe. Now this is what I talked about with spacing. Like, I analyze the situation, I see, alright, that fight is going nowhere over there. So I'm just gonna go over here and see if maybe I can lure the rocket launcher to fire on his allies. Not succeeding. So change of plans. Perfect parry, keep parrying, and just wait for an opening. Like, if we no damage it, we're gonna get our score anyway. We've got plenty of Zandatsus. We've got plenty of kills. And plenty of BP. So time's not gonna be a problem here. Easy kill. I think the perfect parrying against those enemies works the same as it does against, for instance, Mistral and Sundowner. That you just have to perfect parry them like a couple of times in a row and then it'll hit. Because I doubt it's random. Things are rarely random in video games. There's always a pattern. And I'm just running around until he shuts up. Now he's in gun stance, and I think he's going to be stunned. Yeah. Now we're getting really close to the end, and the upcoming conversations are probably just going to be about the dual grad, because the fight itself goes by so fast, I can't really comment over it. Basically with the dual grads, the entire tactic was to just perfect parry constantly. You'll see me do it in the fight itself. I perfect parry the main one first, then perfect parry the second, and perfect parrying stuns them for a short time. So when I've perfect parried one, I run back to the other, because I'm on a strict timer. I have about 1 minute to kill them both, because the previous section also takes, well, a good minute. So perfect parry the first, cut off his turret, because cutting off his turret will severely limit his moveset. And then run over to the other, perfect parry him, run back to the main, perfect parry him. And from that moment, it's a roll of the die. Roll of the die? Roll of the dice? Alright, this part's really fun. I always like doing this part. My record here is I think it's 6 seconds and something. That's my record, and it was a bit slower here, but that's okay. Going back to the grad fight, after having perfect parried the main one twice and the second grad once, it becomes a random fest. You just gotta space it out properly. Pray they do normal attacks that you can parry, and not just go into turret stance the entire time, because at this moment in the game, I'm just so low on damage output. Perfect parries were the only way to do the fight in 2.5 minutes total. And now I can hear you say, well, what about no damage? No damaging the dual grad fight without sufficient upgrades is a bit of a risk, in the sense that you're going to get one hit. There's going to be a hit in your face at least once, due to the fact that you're so low on output, meaning there's going to be 2 grads out there for pretty much the entire fight, and not getting damaged during that, yeah, that's not going to happen. Like, I think I get the other arm. No, I don't get it. I was clearly trying to build up some fuel to get it again, but no. So yeah, that fight was monstrously difficult to dual grad. Well, I'm quickly going to show you. There is storage down there, which you can get with the dwarf gecko. Going back to the dual grad fight. What else do I need to share with you? You'll see all the perfect parry timings, but they won't do you any good without sufficient practice. You gotta know the timings, and a few of them are deceptive. Like, a few you really have to not do at the last moment, because their hitbox activates early. Another data storage over there. And yeah, it's so ridiculously hard, and I think it's one of the few unfair fights in the game, especially on handicap runs. It becomes just, you can see that this fight was made with New Game Plus in mind. Like, you have the Sai, you have the pinsters, you have Ripper mode, and it would be a lot more manageable if the entire environment wasn't exploding. But, well, starting off the fight, we run over here and we grab our chest, because in the chest is a cube of 5000 BP, which means we'll automatically get our BP ranking at maximum for this fight. Now, this is what made it so hard. I screwed up a lot of perfect parries here, meaning this part takes a lot longer than it should, and by muscle memory I counter one perfect parry over there with a block. I'm just not getting through here. But I finally do, and now I'm just gonna shut up and let you guys enjoy the ride of this fight. It was hell. And that's the fight. I barely make it. I think it's like 2 minutes 26, and here I get those final 2 hits in for my 40 hit combo. 2:22, 8 seconds left. Now, looking back, you can see that I take a lot of damage. And the reason behind this is that this entire fight was about me being aggressive, staying on the move, keeping up the pressure, and making sure my damage output is maximized. I'm not talking Beast Wars. Like, Raiden, maximize! No, I'm talking maximizing my damage output. And that's why I got hit a lot. Now this fight is just a bit toying around. You don't need to do this fight. You can sneak past them if you have a smoke grenade. But without Ripper, this fight was a lot more challenging than I thought it would be. Though I am also kinda toying around with them, using the pole arm. I was trying to get the rocket launcher to kill him, but I always fail with that. Alright, quickly back up. Because he's in parry mode. Now the forward T of the l'entrange cannot be blocked. It's an unblockable move. Meaning you can easily knock down the custom, which is the guy with the sword, down to ground. At least if both hits connect, because it has 2 hits in its move. Quickly get out of there. Here, see, there you go. Now the heavies, or hammer bros as I like to call them, they're a bit of a different story. They're they'll never fall to the ground unless they have 1 blue leg. Quickly going around the corner for quick draw. One of the most useless abilities in the game. But I like using it because it's cool. Run away and just let that guy know. Just let him disappear. For those who don't really play this game a lot and don't know the intricacies, if you slice off 1 body part of an enemy and then just run away, they'll disappear. They'll retreat. Now over here you'll see me use the normal attack, the normal heavy attack of the high frequency blade, just to show you how much range this move really has. And this hallway is a lot deceptively harder to navigate than you'd realize. The camera is really close up here, meaning this was really stupid. I know that Stinger means they're gonna do their invincible, their unblockable attack. Yet I still did Stinger for some stupid reason. But yeah, this hallway will screw with your camera, so be on the lookout if you do this fight. Now I'm doing something over here that's called that I call dodge buffering. What I do is I input an attack just before I do the dodge, meaning I can start with later entrances of the combo. For instance, I use my heavy light, first heavy dodge, then light dodge, and then I did heavy, meaning I started with the stab attack with the foot. The only thing you can't do in dodge offset is delay moves. For some reason it doesn't register that, which is a shame, because there's only 1 delay move in the game, I think, which is heavy delay light. And it's one of the cooler and better moves in the game. And over here I'm gonna spam it, because this fight needs to end, because we're nearly at the end of the chapter. Now this video was probably a little bit shorter than chapter 1, because chapter 2 is a very short chapter, but it makes up with it in just insane difficulty. Like the jump from chapter 1, which I had a little bit trouble with Mistral, but that was pretty much it. Chapter 2 was a hell. And this is just toying around. I don't think I even get it on Datsu. No. Well, to close it off, upcoming is going to be chapter 3. Chapter 3 has a couple of fights that might prove to be annoying or a little bit difficult. But I'm not expecting there to be any fight that's as broken as the Dual Grads was. Now, around the corner is the last VR. That being said, that was chapter 2. I hope you all enjoyed it as much as I... Well, I didn't enjoy doing this chapter. I'm sorry, like, this was hell. I'm gonna enjoy the next one. See you guys then.
Hey, do your job.